What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 4 of Thinktwice, a weekly show where we talk about things going on in the world of Magic the Gathering, gaming, and pop culture. I'm Justin Parnell. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Ali Aintrazi, and this week we're going to be talking about the results from Pro Tour Hour of Devastation, a little bit of Commander 2017 and the Magic story that goes along with that, as well as what would happen if fictional characters from Game of Thrones were Magic cards. All right, so as expected, surprise, surprise, you had arguably the third best player of all time in Magic the Gathering playing arguably the best deck in Standard and won the Pro Tour with it.
Yep, Mono Red, Ramunap Red, as it's called, is a devastating deck and a very powerful one, especially when you're not expecting it, so no surprise there.
Well, even when you are expecting it, I don't think that, I mean, this was a deck we talked about. We've talked about this deck at length on 2 other episodes, and we've only had 3 episodes before this one. So yeah, I don't know if this snuck up on anyone, but the fact that people were prepared or thought they were prepared, and it still put up by far the best numbers, put the most people in day 2, obviously the most copies in the top 8, as well as winning the tournament. That's saying a lot.
Yeah, I knew the deck was real when I was playing Blue-Red Control. A deck with a pile of removal spells, and I was still having a hard time against Ramunap Red. So, yeah, the deck's definitely powerful. It just has everything. Like it can be hyper aggressive. It has good mid game because of Hazoret, Chandra, and then even the late game. Like, sure, it can't cast anything big, but it can grind you out with the Ramunap Desert.
Yeah,
Ramunap Ruins.
Ramunap Ruins, as well as it has like Earthshaker Kenra in eternalized form is a giant threat that's essentially uncounterable. It's hard to kill with removal that is good against most of the rest of the deck, like Magma Sprays and Fatal Push. Well, I guess Fatal Push is still good against it.
But then
it's difficult to block, and even if it's like, yeah, you're going to block it the second time, but you're probably taking 4 the first time. And not only that, but like Hazoret, how many ways do you have to kill that? You have what, like 3 in Standard that are like actually playable cards to kill Hazoret?
I'm thinking of just one for sure.
Mainly Grasp of Darkness.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, sure.
I'm going even farther. I'm thinking like, I guess Stasis Snare.
Okay,
gets it.
Fine.
Yeah, but I mean that's
probably it.
Yeah, you're probably right. I guess the next best way is have like Soulscar Mage and then deal it 4 damage. But that's still like 2 cards, and that Soulscar Mage is not going to be hanging around unless you're sandbagging in your hand.
Yeah. Then other ways, I think you have to just be ready for it in your sideboard by having like Hour of Glory or something. Like, I'm not expecting anyone to play Hour of Glory from their main deck to kill Hazoret. So. Oh
yeah, no, yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, maybe if you're already a control deck, you have access to that. But if you're a control deck, you're probably in bad shape anyway.
Yeah.
And Hour of Devastation, while a sweeper, and it's going to get everything, it's 5 mana, which is a lot, and it is costing you cards in the sense of you have to make a land drop every turn, or you're not going to make it to be able to cast it in the first place, you know?
Well, yeah. Well, also tapping out for Hour of Devastation against a deck that has, like, almost every creature has haste in that deck probably isn't the best idea.
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, their premier threat, which is Hazoret. Banner week for Hazoret, by the way.
Yeah.
After surviving as the only god in Magic story, went on to be the dominant god of the Pro Tour. But
yeah.
You have a threat that in years past, having a 4-drop as the top end of your deck is like, well, maybe you're going to play 1 or 2 because you're a hyper aggressive deck. But this is a pretty aggressive deck, and you have 4 of that card, and it's probably your best card.
No, I agree. I think that's what kind of morphs the deck into slightly mid-range-ish. It can grind you out with...
I agree.
Yeah, it can grind you out with Hazoret and Ramunap Ruins and Chandra. So you can't just like people going about it and attacking it from an aggro perspective, like you go in with your magma sprays, your bunch of removal, and like maybe like one creature to win the game. You're not gonna win because it can play the mid game very well.
I feel like this is Ollie. You're an excellent litmus test to determine how good an aggressive deck is because it's rare that you play aggressive decks. I'm not saying never, but it's not common. So how concerned you are against playing against a deck usually tells me how good it is.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, depending on how scared I am against the aggressive deck, usually shows how good or scary or powerful it is. I think Ramunap Red is a very powerful deck. But I think the weakest thing in it is it's steady. Like it's not explosive, which is good.
Yeah, that's true. That's as far as an aggressive red deck, it lacks some of the explosion.
Yeah, it's no Tarka Red. If you guys remember Tarka Red, people would like become immense you, then turn Battle Rage, and that was miserable.
Yeah, you might be taking 30 on turn 4.
Well, I remember, not to get off too much here, but I remember against that deck, I had a Dramoka in play as a 20 life. My opponent attacks. I block with Dramoka. Dragon with Dramoka, the one that has lifelink, 5/7. I block with her. My opponent is able to like become immense and then make a bigger another way, and then tier and battle rage it. So it first strikes, kills my Dramoka, tramples over. I gain no life, and then the double strike damage or the red damage kills me. Yeah.
Wow. Good lord. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fortunately, we don't have to deal with that, but
it's resilient.
To me, it might be. Is it scary? Yeah. Is it scarier that it comes at you with so many different angles, and it is difficult to adjust your in-game plan. Like you might be able to come more prepared to a tournament for it, and we'll talk about that in a second. But it's difficult. Like if you're paired against it and you don't have this really solid, plan in your 75. If you're trying to concoct a plan based on what you have in your deck, I feel like that is where this deck thrives because it hits you in the early game. It has a lot of 1-drops. It hits you in the mid game when it's able to remove a lot of your threats if you're trying to make blockers. It easily can do that with removal. And then kind of in the late game where you have Planeswalker, an excellent Planeswalker in Chandra and then Hazoret, making sure that it gets all of the reach that it needs without having to attack you that many times. It's impressive. It's impressive. And we're not even talking about the lands yet. Even if you only draw lands and you're not inundated with burn spells and efficient creatures, you're still able to, at the cost of a lot of mana, but you're able to get that extra reach for 4 to 6 damage, which is crazy.
Yeah, you are. But again, the deck is not explosive, and it gives you time to do whatever you want to do. And after, typically with aggro decks, after you know about them, especially if they're slower like this one is, sure, it's resilient. Yes, it's powerful. Yes, it'll still be a mainstay in the metagame, but it will not take over the format. Like, it won't be the best deck ever. And there will be ways to stop it or counter it. Or
yeah, so that's what I want to ask you. Is a red deck, just in general, and we're talking about like a red deck that has burn spells and creatures in it, not all in red or a red combo deck, a regular red aggressive attacking deck. If this is the best deck, is this the easiest type of deck to adjust to in the metagame?
Yeah, I think so. I think aggressive decks are the easiest things to adjust to or to adapt to. Typically, when you have like a control deck or a tempo deck or even a combo deck, those are the hardest ones to combat, or harder to, I should say, because control, if they're countering all your things, it's going to be hard to stop them. Tempo, if they're still temping you out, it's going to be hard to stop that, depending on what else they have. Like, this is me thinking about fairies or Squadron Hawk with Jace.
Sure. I think a common thing that people think, and has been said for 20 years now, is if you want to beat red deck, you can beat it. If you just want to decide to beat it, you can build your deck in a way that doesn't lose to it. The same can't always be said for other decks. But that's what I think makes this a really healthy metagame. If this is the best deck, you can just beat it. Now, you can't focus solely on that because then that's how metagames evolve. Obviously, you start focusing solely on red, then you're going to have another deck that you're unable to beat because you've put so many of your tools of your toolbox into beating this red deck. And then usually, if a deck is preying on that deck, then the red deck comes along and preys on the deck that's preying on the deck to beat it.
Yes.
So this is the way of the world in, especially in a 3-deck metagame, which is probably where we're headed. But that's another good thing to bring up. The next day, well, Sunday in, American time, there was a Magic Online PTQ. And the amount of red decks in the top 8 of this PTQ was a very different number than the amount of red decks in the top 8 of the Pro Tour. There were 6 decks with Ramunap Ruins in the main deck, which is essentially what we're calling this archetype. 6 of those decks in the Pro Tour top 8. There were 0 decks that had red in it, that had Ramunap Ruins in the deck at all as an aggressive red deck in the top 8 of the PTQ. Does that surprise you?
Yes, that does surprise me a little bit because, especially for a online Magic Online, because people tend to play the cheapest deck. It's easier to afford. It's easier to play, and it was running rampant before we made the Pro Tour. So that is a little surprising that there's actually 0 in the top 8.
Yeah, I mean, it surprised me too. And I didn't even think about the point that you brought up as far as the general Magic Online cost, where aggressive decks are cheaper and thus are more commonly played. But even that, like, to go from 6 decks, where this deck dominated the Pro Tour, to I think the highest finishing deck was like right outside of the top 16 for the same deck that dominated the Pro Tour for this PTQ. Like, that is,
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, did it get figured? Are people figuring out how to beat it immediately, or did people just I guess kind of reverse and be like, I don't want to play this deck, I want to beat this deck?
I don't think it's the case. I think people know it's a thing. People aren't being as greedy with their main deck or sideboards. They know, hey, if I don't build my deck correctly, I'm going to lose to this mono red deck. I need to respect it, or I'll die. Yes. So people aren't testing new things anymore. They know what to expect, and they're ready for it.
It's still surprising, and you saw a smattering of a lot of zombie decks, a couple of ramp decks with like main deck Jotty offshoot in the deck.
Yeah, I actually remember that one.
Is that all it?
That was Todd Anderson's deck.
Yes. Is that all it takes? Like,
no, he did. He had more. He played Jotty offshoot, but he also he actually played 0 Pain Land Deserts. He has no deserts in his deck, I believe. So he played no deserts to not take pain from his lands.
So that's pretty notable, especially in a deck that has Hour of Promise, where I think people have been kind of split on, do you want to play deserts to trigger the zombie effect of Hour of Promise, or exactly what you said, do you just need to avoid deserts at all because they're the ones that are taking, it doesn't seem like much, but 2 or 3 points of damage over the course of the game. I mean, maybe that's the difference.
Oh yeah, I mean, I agree, and it could be more than that. I do think the right balance is some number of deserts. It doesn't have to be 7. Like, even just playing the bare minimum, like just playing 3, just playing 3 deserts is, I think, better than playing none. Even if they're like ones that can play tapped. But regardless, you can see that people are adapting to it. Like, again, by Todd Anderson's deck list, he's playing main deck Jotty offshoot. He's playing 0 Pain lands. He has he had like 4 Kozilek's Returns in his main deck. He had Chandra Flamecallers. He had like World Breakers. Like he had like other removal too. He had like a Braids too. So he was definitely ready to. He was definitely prepared for the mono red matchup.
Yeah, and it showed. Now, it's
even sorry.
Go ahead.
I interrupt you. Even his sideboard too, I believe. He he played 4 Chandras defeat, which is fantastic against Mono Red. And people didn't play that when they weren't sure how good Mono Red was. But now we know it's good, so people are prepared. And this is a wonderful case to show you how a deck can adapt to Mono Red.
Yeah, absolutely. That wasn't the most notable deck in the top 8. The deck that put the most copies into the top 8, as well as won the event, I believe, was Zombies.
Yes. Coming into after the Pro Tour, or even during the Pro Tour, I think it was known that Zombies was favored against Mono Red.
With minimal adjustment to their deck.
Yes. All they have to do is add in a couple Cletus, and that's it.
Yeah, it didn't take much. They conveniently, Dark Salvation kills gods just as easily as it kills Emerald.
That is, yeah. Well, yeah, and their deck has 4 Grasp and Dark Salvation, so they have a good way to deal with Hazoret.
Yeah, which is very important. Now, Ollie, how much of the Pro Tour were you able to watch?
Sadly, I wasn't able to watch much of it at all because I'm sure you guys are aware, it came on at like 8 p.m. and I'm old. I have kids. I have to get up early. I have appointments. So anything I watched was a replay. I watched 0 of the actual top 8. Or the actual Pro Tour at all. It was all replays. Yeah. Watch anything.
Yeah. And that is, this is something that people were talking about. Obviously, I think it's important to have the Pro Tours in different locations. It has been suggested at one point that all the Pro Tours be in Seattle, where, around where Wizards headquarters is in Renton. But I do agree that I don't know, making that change would be so, it takes away the heart of it, but you weren't the only one that was not able to watch the Pro Tour at this time. Being in Japan, it cut essentially the viewership numbers in half, which is dramatic. I thought this was actually, and I'll talk about some of the things I liked and didn't like, because I was actually, for better or worse, I was able to watch a decent amount of this Pro Tour due to some interesting accidental sleep schedules over that weekend. But I think that's something that's notable. I mean, if you're having a half of your audience isn't able to tune in, is that something that they need to address in the future?
I think so, especially when they were bragging about it prior. They're saying, "Oh, look how many viewers we have. We're growing. This is getting better."
Yeah.
And it being cut in half is not the place you want to be. So
I mean, that's like half is a lot, and
oh yeah,
and yes. They're taking their partnership with Twitch very seriously. They put a lot of what I would imagine is time, effort, and notably money into making sure that this is a real thing. Magic wants to be taken seriously as an esport. You have to be on when people that you want to be watching it can watch it. I think it's as simple as that.
I agree.
I think it's great for the Pro Tour, for the people at the Pro Tour, and all the little segments they were able to do to be in Japan, which a place that has so much Magic history as far as the players and things that have happened in Japan. But there's got to be a line. You have to decide what is more important. Is it being able to grow our brand with, tens of thousands of people being able to watch? Or is it more important for the people that are at the event to be able to experience the Pro Tour in its fullest? I'm not saying you can't have both of those, but they've made it harder on themselves. And you've seen the results with the number of viewers that didn't watch comparatively to Pro Tour Amonkhet.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the solution is, because traveling to different places overseas or wherever is fun and nice. So I don't know what the solution is, but I'm sure they'll figure it out. Like, I'm sure they're aware of the problem, what's going on, and they'll come to some solution. The only thing I found was odd was, even when I was watching the replays or what I got to see of the Pro Tour, I forgot that Amaz was there, and he was like a special guest. So
he did really well at this event too, which is crazy. Not crazy that he did well, but like you didn't see from him really.
No, was he? Yeah, was he featured at all? Because I
don't think so. I honestly don't think that he was.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Like, if you give someone a special invite, shouldn't they be on camera, especially if they're doing well?
Yeah, I would think. Like, why else are they there?
I agree.
I don't get it. You're right. That's a good point.
Like, counteracts the purpose of special invite, I think.
But like, some people have said like maybe they don't want to promote Hearthstone, one of their biggest competitors, but it's like, well, if they don't want to do that, why do they invite this person that is known for playing Hearthstone primarily? I don't know. I don't think so either.
Yeah, I don't think it's the case.
Either.
I mean, yeah. They also invited Day 9 too, but they featured him. He was like, I think he was like 01 or 02. They still featured him. So
I do think there were a lot of good things that happened at this Pro Tour. Not just from a Magic perspective, but from how the event was set up from a viewership perspective. But I have one thing. I have one thing that I need to get off my chest that I did not like, and this is the thing that's been happening for a long time in Pro Tours, and they've fixed a lot of the other things. But this is one thing they have not fixed. The graphics they use at the Pro Tour are so Magic player centric that I think it hurts when people want to be watching this event that are not fully inundated with Magic and they don't know what's going on. If you put a graphic up that's talking about going over the top of, it's like Hazoret allows you to go over the top, and you're just saying that, well, you and I know what that means. But if you have a kid, let's say, I mean, a lot of kids now, and I'm saying kid as young, preteen, early teenagers that are just getting in, they're on Twitch, because this is TV now. Twitch and YouTube is just TV. So they're on Twitch, they're on the front page, they're like, oh, Magic the Gathering, I've heard of this before. Oh, Pro Tour, this is probably a really important event. Maybe it looks cool, maybe it's cool to watch. They click on it. They see they hear people talking about, well, I'm not sure I understand. Oh, here's an information graphic. This will help me understand. And they read it, and you're like, I know all of these words. They're all in English, but I have no idea what this is talking about.
Yeah, well, yeah, I agree with you. That is kind of tough. Like, for instance, like they did feature a Maz, and he tweeted, hey, guys, being featured on camera at the Magic Pro Tour. Here's a link to it. They click the link because, they like a Maz. It's like Hearthstone. They've heard that it's kind of similar. So they just want to watch the person they aspire, like the person they like, play Magic or play whatever. And when they're watching him, if they see those things and don't know what it means, you're less likely to keep their attention.
Absolutely. And you know what? The first time that happens, and this goes for anything in Magic, which is why I think Magic they're doing a better job. But they need to continue to focus on what can we do to bridge the gap between people that are interested in this game but they're not fully invested yet. If you're just going through and you just click on the Magic Pro Tour on Twitch and you watch it for a second, that is Magic's opportunity. That's Wizards of the Coast opportunity to get this person hooked. I think Magic's the greatest game in the world, but it's really difficult to get other people that are not already invested hooked on it. The Pro Tour should be, in my opinion, the easiest way for people to do that. They've done such a good job. They've done such a good job in the grassroots at local stores, making it easy for new players to play. But this is like Twitch and YouTube and these forms of media. This is the future for people to get invested in what you're doing. You don't have to be on TV anymore. Being on ESPN is not necessary. You have this platform available to you. You're using it. You have to make sure you're using it in every single form that you can, and that includes everything you're saying on the stream, everything you're putting up graphically on the stream, all of the side videos that you're talking about when you're talking about the making of the set. All of those things have to be keeping in mind.
New viewers.
This is not the time we're talking to every single one of the people that's fully invested in this game. We need to try to get new people in, and to do that, there can't be this huge understanding gap of what they're hearing and what they're seeing.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. Like, you want the new players, you want to get bigger, become more popular, for people to, get invested into Magic. They need to first understand what's going on, or be immersed in it, or sucked into it, or whatever. And if they click on the Magic Pro Tour for whatever reason it is, like friend, curious, whatever, and if it's like too complicated, they don't know what's going on, or they don't understand it, they're not going to stick with it. They will leave.
Yep. I mean, that's what happens. You get one shot in most cases. Now, as much as I'm poo-pooing the graphics, there was a time not too far in the past, maybe a year or two ago, when I would have also poo-pooed the commentary. However, I think this Pro Tour specifically, Wizards has finally crossed the bridge where I can say I was fully satisfied with all of the personalities and the way they were talking about Magic on the coverage team. I think this was by far the best coverage team that Wizards has ever had for a Pro Tour, period. They were all professional. I'm gonna try to not butcher the names of some of these people, but just to run down Tim Willoughby, who has done Pro Tour coverage in the past, but now was given a larger role for this one. A personal favorite of mine, who I saw a couple of years ago and was hoping he was eventually going to make the Pro Tour, Riley Knight. Paul Cheon, also new to the coverage team, did an excellent job. Maria Bartholdi did a fantastic job, brings an entire new level of professionalism to the coverage team, was an excellent pair with Rich Hagan, who I believe is perpetually underrated and really is the rock of all of coverage. Those people that had not seen as much airtime as they had before, I think they've gotten rid of people that were really just like the Magic players that they were having talk about Magic events. They switched the team to be play-by-play people. Riley Knight, Tim Willoughby, Maria were play-by-play. Paul Cheon, LSV, who's always good, was on color commentary. You had Brian David Marshall on the floor doing interviews, which is where I think he's definitely at his best. You had Rich Hagan holding down the information desk, which is where he's at his best. I think it all clicked, and this is something that has frustrated me as a fan for a long time. I've been watching the Pro Tour for almost since I've been playing Magic, which has been almost 20 years. I started playing Magic in 1999. These aren't things I've been thinking about except for in the last 5 years when I started noticing, when I started advancing myself professionally and learn about these type of things and what it means to commentate from a professional perspective, and wanting the game to grow in the sense that I was talking about with the graphics, that you need to do things to pull people in, and more importantly, not do things that push people out. The amount of professionalism that all of these people had, how they were talking about things, I was incredibly impressed. Again, the two people that I was most impressed with on the weekend were Rich Hagan, who's again always fantastic, and then Maria Bartholdi, who this was her first. She was part of the coverage team in the last Pro Tour, but she got a lot more opportunities to show what she could do in the Magic realm this time, and them as a pair, in my opinion, was the best part of this Pro Tour from a coverage standpoint. And Ollie, I know I'm talking a lot. I know you didn't get a lot of time to watch the PT,
No.
but I don't know. I was impressed. I was impressed, and I don't want to just leaving it as poo-pooing it, because I think there's something they need to do a lot of work on, and this is something that I think they finally crossed the bridge. They have done a lot of work on in the past. I've noticed.
Got you.
So, good for you. Good for you, Wizards.
All right. Hooray!
Okay, had to get a sip of water.
That was long-winded.
We're gonna move on. We know that we have. We normally talk about Magic Story. There's not a Magic Story this week, but we do have a little bit of Magic Story centric stuff to talk about, as well as Commander 2017 product, which comes out soon. We'll be right back. So, normally, on Wednesday, we get a nice little Magic Story. But as we know, old Nickel B finished beating up on the Gatewatch last week, so we're not going to hear from him for another couple minutes.
Yeah, I really want to know what happened with Hazaret, Nicol Bolas, if he left, the Eternals, what's going on, but I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're stopping to do some like little isolated Commander 2017 stories.
Yeah.
But there's still stuff going on Amonkhet. We talked about how we both thought that the best part of the Amonkhet story had nothing to do with the Gatewatch.
Yes.
You still have Hazard and Samhut, and we don't know what the Scarab God and Locust God are doing. They're not dead, as far as we know.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I have no idea. Like, is he going to kill them or is he going to leave them there? Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's good
Yeah,
questions.
where's Hazard going?
All good questions.
I'm sure Nick Bolton doesn't care. He just wants to like take his army and leave. That's fine. Like, don't
I guess.
don't tell me what Nick Bolton is doing, but let me know what happened to Hazard and Sema. Like, where'd they go?
Yeah, we want to know. We want to finish the Amonkhet story. We're going to get to Nicol Bolas. No, we'll see Nicol Bolas again. We're not worried about that. He had his moment. He dropped his bows and then went off. That's fine. Yeah. So, but we don't have that. Instead, we have a little podcast that talked about some vampire-centric stuff because of the Commander 2017 product that's coming out, featuring the tribes of vampires, wizards, cats, dragons. Ali, how do you feel in general about isolated stories that don't exactly fit into the little mold of the narrative they're telling?
I don't mind them. I would like for them to tie in some way to the main narrative, but sure. I don't mind them, especially if it's a character I like. But
I'm glad you said that.
but I do not want to. I think hearing separate stories over and over and over again, like let's say for 4 weeks in a row or even 5 weeks in a row, is not something that I'm super interested in. Like I want the story. I want to know what's going on. I want to follow the lore. I don't want to stray too far from the main storyline, basically.
So you said it depends on how much you like them.
Yes.
I'm glad you said that because I think that is really what these little isolated stories.
Oh, it's all about that. I think.
If you're interested in the characters, that's when you're going to click for any person, me included. And I try to soak up all of the Magic story and the lore as I possibly can, as do you. But if there's like 4 weeks in a row and you see some character that you've never seen and you might not care about, you're going to be like, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. It's like introducing new character on new character on new character on new character. Like, after all, it's like, okay, I want to know what's happening with my boy Samut or my boy whatever, or my girl Elishnorn or my boy Karn, or, you know, I want to know what's going on with them. Or even better, I would like to know more about so-and-so's past, like Karn's past, or the Plane of Amonkhet's past, or like what was it before? Like what were the five gods like before Bolas arrived, or even how they fight Bolas? Like, you know, because they obviously all the 8 gods fought Bolas and lost. I would love to know how they lost, what Bolas did exactly. Like, we still don't know what he did. What he really did. We know he took people, he eternalized them. Basically, you know, set up the whole process, but we don't know how. Like, and I'd love to learn that. I would love to learn that or anything else.
Yeah, well, okay, so this week they talked about a character that we do know of, but we haven't really interacted with, and that's Edgar Markov, who is his card apparently is the primary. He's the face card, essentially, on the Commander 2017 product for the Vampire deck. That's Soren's grandpappy. He's the person who made vampirism on Innistrad. So, that being said, is that too much of a stretch to talk about Edgar Markov? Is that too far away from the primary story that you're interested in? Or is that close enough to where you're like, okay, maybe this is something I'm interested in? Or do you have to get in and find out if it links up at all?
Well, I got in and I went and tried to find out, but I wish this story was during Innistrad, or Eldritch Moon, or whatever. Like, having to go back in it now and understand it is still interesting, but I don't want to be so forced that we're just talking about characters in Commander that are completely off like topic and nowhere are we going to see them again, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't want to learn about...
You know, it does. Totally
I don't want to learn about a character that I'm not going to be... that we're never going to see or talk about or hear from.
You want to be invested.
Yeah. Like, if we see Edgar Markov in the next year or so, I think it's worthwhile. But if it's longer than that, then hold it, please.
Yeah. I agree. I actually totally agree with you. I think it needs to be something. The stories can be good, and I'm all for reading a good short story. But if I'm investing my time in this, I'm invested in the Magic narrative, and I want any story I read about Magic to be a part of that narrative. Ultimately, like it doesn't have to be next week, but I don't want it to be a one-off of it and then it's done.
Yes.
That's a waste of my time.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So, but since we do have Edgar Markov, face of the Vampire Tribe in Commander 2017, the Commander decks are getting released in August of this year. That's moving them up from November of last year.
So this month.
So this month, later this month. So this is not going to be the last time we'll talk about it. As we get to see more of the cards, I think we can talk about it more. But this is interesting to me because the Commander decks, as far as I can tell you, I'm as some of you know, I'm the acquisition manager at Star City Games. The Commander for us, and probably for Wizards too, the Commander decks are some of our best-selling products because they're great.
Right. And
because of that, they put them at holiday time. They come out right after Thanksgiving or right before Thanksgiving, right for holiday time. They sell fantastic. They're great Magic. They're legitimately great Magic products. I'm not gonna. I don't have any. I'm not working for Wizards at all. They're not paying me for anything. I'm just gonna tell you when something's good, when something's bad. Commander decks are great. They have been great. The 2013 ones are just okay. All the rest, great. The last ones were especially good. I don't think that these are going to be worse because they're moved up. What I actually think is happening is this is making room for more supplemental sets for casual people. People that don't want to play tournament Magic. Obviously, a lot of people probably listen to this podcast fall into that category. You might have bought the Arch Enemy set that came out earlier this year featuring Nicol Bolas. You might be the person that's buying the Explorers of Ixalan set that's coming out later this year. Ali, do you think that this is the best way? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, out of all those, obviously I have no idea what Explorers of Ixalan is, but
no, none of us do.
I've enjoyed Arch Enemy for the few times I did play it. Anytime I played it, it was this is back when I played a ton of Commander with friends at kitchen tables or at their house or locally.
Yeah,
I love playing Arch Enemy and with Commander decks, with your own Commander decks, and having usually if you're playing with a bunch of people. Usually like one or two people that have the best deck or the better deck. You're like, okay, you're the Arch Enemy, and we're gonna fight you, and that was always fun. I enjoyed that.
It is definitely fun. Well, so that's perfect. Do you think that having more of these supplemental products that you can either play right out of the box or that you can use and then kind of form it to your own collection? Do you think this is good for Magic overall, or are we straying too far from the standard 4 sets a year, maybe a couple of master sets, or a master set and a supplemental set, a full set, but not like box products? Like, what do you prefer?
No, I mean I like this. I love it because even with these supplemental products, sometimes we see new cards that break into older formats, which is like great. It shakes up
it's huge.
Mostly shakes up Legacy because they're not legal in Modern, but it's awesome. A few I can think of off the top of my head are Trinity Nemesis, Leovold.
Yep, that's bullet number 1. Bullet number 2.
I don't even play Legacy that much. I know those two because I see them around. So I'm sure there's more. Or Charlotte's Agent too. That was one for a while too. So
Baleful
there
Streets.
You go.
I mean, these are all staples.
Yeah,
in that format.
I do, real quick, I do hope or wish that if they start making more product, I wish they would make one specific product, maybe not Commander product, but some product that is standalone, but is also legal in Modern. Like, I know it's maybe too late now to make Commander things legal in Modern because the cards are some are pretty absurd, but I would love them to make something else that would be legal in Modern as well as Legacy or whatever, because that would let you introduce new cards to Modern that are maybe too good for Standard, but are fine for Modern, and that'd be sweet.
Man, I wish they could figure out a way to do that. I don't. I think, it's like I think they might have come too far, but of course, again, the rule that you can play Conspiracy and you can play commander cards, you can play plane chase cards. Cards that are printed in these sets, you can play them in Legacy. That's just a random rule that they made up. Like, there's no basis for it. They were just like, you can play these cards in Legacy, you can't play them in Modern.
Yeah.
So why couldn't they just do that with Modern?
Well, yeah, I think now they've come too far, but I'm saying if they come out with a new conspiracy set or a new, like let's say Explorers of Ixalan, like they say, hey, this is a new standalone set, you can do something cool with it, you can draft it or do whatever with it. And by the way, all these cards are legal in Modern too.
I think that would be great if they could. I don't know. It's like Wizards they're weird about rules sometimes.
Yeah.
Which, and I can appreciate that. I'm a rules guy myself. I love rules. But they make these rules and then like behold themselves to it, and they're like, but the rules are like arbitrary. But then when they set them, they're just like, nope, can't change them. This is the rule. Until they do change it, and then it's like, no, that rule doesn't matter. This is the new rule. So I don't know. You guys should let us know. Do you want to see supplemental products that are or they're legal in non-eternal, non-legacy, and vintage formats? Let us know. You can let us know at jparnell1, at Ali Aintrazi on Twitter, at Thinktwice MTG on Twitter. Let us know what you guys think. This is something that I think both of us want, that I think a lot of Magic players want, but maybe we're not thinking about this from the right angle. Maybe there's something we're not thinking about. Maybe you shouldn't allow these cards into these formats. Maybe it's going to ruin it. Maybe Modern's already good enough. I don't know. You guys let us know. The last thing I want to talk about with this is, with these products, I think these are excellent ways for them to print new cards with like returned mechanics that maybe you don't want to print in a set, but you can print as like a one-off or a two-off card that spices up any format, really. Like Flusterstorm is one that comes to mind.
Oh, yeah.
Also a commander card. You sure as hell don't want to print Storm again.
Yeah.
But you print one Storm card, that's totally fine. And it's a counterspell. Flusterstorm's super reasonable card.
Yeah, same with like...
Other than its price, but that's all different.
I was going to say, same with Infect. Like, you probably don't want to do too much Infect. You probably don't want to do too much Phyrexian mana, but it'd be cool to see it in like a standalone set. Like you could print some sort of Phyrexian mana spell, one or two, that are playable in Legacy or whatever.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, they did the same with Cascade with Shardless Agent. That card is totally fun.
Yeah, it is.
It's fun.
It's fine and fun. It's both.
Yeah. But I mean, you could, like, honestly, they've done that before. I just wish they would do it more, and I want to see it. I want to see it more with command. Like, for me, obviously, I play Commander frequently. I play it every week at least. And one thing I want to see with these new products, Commander 2017 or whatever, I want to see returning Commander mechanics. They have from the leaks that we saw, it looks like that the main mechanic of this set is Imminence, which means that if your general has Imminence, it can do something from the command zone or it's in play. Either one. I would love to see in future Commander sets see more of that. We saw last year. We saw the introduction of partners. I would love, they could literally just print like one partner in each of these new Commander decks. And it doesn't hurt the Commander decks at all, because if there's only one in each of the Commander decks, they're just regular creatures. But then when you get it out of the set and add it to your collection, this like changes the dynamic significantly.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Same with in the Commander 2014 products, they did Planeswalkers as... Oh,
those were sweet.
Yeah, they were sweet. And and this is actually something we've done a few times on Commander Versus, where we just play with Planeswalkers as legendary as our generals anyway. But just why don't you print more of those? Why can't you just print a Planeswalker, put it in a set, and just add that text on it that says that it can be your general? Like, why don't we see more of that? I don't know.
That'd be sweet, because most of those were they all single colors?
They're all monocolors. Yeah, so of course, begs the question, why do they have to be monocolors? Why not print more that are double colors?
Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be an awesome design space to explore.
It totally would be. It totally would be. And I don't know, maybe they just... I don't know why they're limiting it. I wish... Those are all cool mechanics, and those are just the ones off the top of my head. Like there's definitely plenty more.
Can you time out? I got something exciting.
Okay.
Can you imagine if they printed some Planeswalkers with partner, so you partner them with a creature, or
that would be so sick.
or partner up with just two Planeswalkers, or like that'd be awesome, right?
That'd be totally awesome. Yeah. Like, why not? I don't see why you wouldn't be able to do that.
They probably can. I mean, Wizards always do
it. Do it, Wizards.
do it.
Do
There
it.
you go.
What are you waiting for?
They can.
Yeah,
They
do
definitely
it.
can.
Okay, good. Well, but they should listen to us. All right. So we're going to move on from this. I promise, guys, as we get closer to Commander 2017, I promise we're going to chat about this more. I know a lot of you are here to hear me talk about Commander. You're going to hear me start talking about Commander more. I promise. We got the whole thing set up. So in a second, we are going to go and talk about something we talked about a little bit last week. We're going to talk about Game of Thrones characters if they were Magic cards and how they fit into the color pie. We'll see you guys in a second. Okay, Ollie. Last week we chatted about Game of Thrones as we like to do, and one thing we mentioned that a couple of people talked to me about that they really enjoyed was when we were talking a little bit about if characters in Game of Thrones were associated with colors in Magic. Mm-hmm. So basically, the color pie from a Vorthos perspective divvies up the colors having different attributes to them. Positive and negative attributes, and these are usually personality attributes. You've heard us talk about this before when we talked about the role of red and how you're looking at red characters from a story perspective. So if we're looking at Game of Thrones characters from a story perspective in Magic terms, let's go through and figure out where each of these characters would fall within the 5 colors of Magic.
All right, are we going to talk about them where they are now in the story?
We'll say
because
sure. We'll say now unless they've changed, and then we can note that too.
Okay, I think some have changed. I think a lot have changed.
Okay. Well, what's one that you think has changed that's not different now than it was then?
I think Arya Stark changed. I think.
Okay. So Arya.
I think Sansa Stark changed too. She's like the most changed though.
Okay, so where do you think Arya is now?
Now?
Color wise, yes.
Red. It's weird. I want to say red, I want to say red blue, but I don't think she's very blue.
Okay.
I'll say
this is gonna be a good discussion.
Yeah. Huh. I'll just go with red.
So you're saying Arya's mono red. Why?
Because she's passionate. She's about revenge. She wants to get revenge, but she's not consumed by it. I mean, well, to some extent you can say she's consumed by it, but this has been her drive all along. She's not sneaky unless she has to be. So I don't know. It's weird. I want to say she's a different color, but she's definitely red.
I know what I want to say.
What do you want to say?
And maybe you wanted to say it, but you just couldn't. You couldn't bring yourself to it. I think Arya is red black. She has some hate in her heart for sure. She up until I guess not yet. She's pretty single-minded of what she wants to do, and that is literally murder.
Yes, but she's not black though. I mean,
I think that she is. She's certainly passionate, and she's only. I don't want to say that she's self-centered, but she is in a way that makes her focus on herself, but not necessarily at the expense of others. That doesn't mean look black, and this is I think is a common thing with when people are focusing on colors in Magic. Black doesn't have to be bad.
Oh no, I know that.
Focusing on yourself doesn't mean that you're evil. That's just where her focus lies. She's so focused on getting her personal revenge that's something that consumes her.
Right.
She's obviously passionate. That's where red comes.
But she's
into
not
play.
focused on herself. She's focused on her emotions. She's focused on her passion. She's focused on her anger, her hatred, her drive. But she is not doing it for herself. She's not focused on herself at all. I don't think. She's more focused on the end result. She's not on murder spree killing everybody. She still feels for people. Obviously, if she sees someone that she likes or someone's kind to her, she's not gonna just randomly kill them. It's way more about her emotions and how she feels than it is.
Well, yeah, I don't think she's randomly killing
right.
anyone.
Yeah,
but I think she's doing it. She's doing it with.
But I think it's for herself. I think it's more so for her emotions. She's not doing it to get more power or to set something or to get something for herself. She's doing it because she's angry. She's not doing it because she's not necessarily going to gain anything out of this.
But it's calculated. It's calculated.
Sure.
That's
Well,
why.
red can be calculated.
But I think her she's impulsiveness is more. It's like impulsive passion is red, and calculated passion, I think, is red and black. That's just me personally.
Yeah.
You guys let us know what Ari is, black or black red. Okay, moving on. Who's next?
What do you think about Jon Snow?
Jon Snow. Okay, so Jon is interesting to me. He's certainly white. I think that one's to me is pretty easy. He has a strong sense of pride, purpose. He's more focused on the group than he is himself. He's put the group ahead of himself at pretty much every moment. So he's definitely white. You could argue that he's black because he's zombified, but I don't think that's a very good argument.
No.
I don't think he's red because he's
not.
He's not impulsive. He doesn't think. He doesn't act before he thinks ever. He is passionate, but not enough
to warrant red.
Not enough to warrant red. I don't think he's blue.
No, me either.
Because he doesn't value progress and intelligence enough. Not that he's not smart, but his leadership and his value of the group over himself again makes him more white than blue. I don't think he's blue either. Which leaves green. I'm not sure.
I don't think he's green. No, he's not. I don't think he's green enough.
I don't think he's green either because green is natural growth and allowing things to develop naturally. Jon, I think when he first. So right now, I'm going to say Jon's mono white.
I think the closest he's been to green is when he was with the wildlings.
I was actually going to say, I actually think he was green. I think Jon might have actually been mono green from the very beginning of the show through when he got back to the camp with the wildlings, because he was not as he was more. He more allowed things to kind of develop as they did. He didn't try to focus on making sure that everyone else was set. He was more he wasn't focused on himself or anyone else. He was kind of just letting things go as they were. He was fine with the natural course of things. He wanted things to just play out and see what happened. That's very green. I don't think he's green anymore though. So I'm gonna go with mono white. I think old Jon Snow, before he got back to camp with the wildlings, was green. I think mono white now that he's King of the North, Night Watch Commander Jon Snow. That's mono white.
I agree with mono white now. I'm not sure about mono green before. But we'll say there. We'll say mono white.
Okay, we both agree on mono white for Jon. Okay, what about the Hound? Where do you think the Hound is? The Hound is right now. Where do you think the Hound is right now?
Right now?
Mm-hmm.
Red white.
Yep, I think I agree. You go first.
I think he's definitely red white now. I don't want this to be like spoilers or anything, but I think in the past he was not white at all, really.
Oh, totally agree.
I think he was definitely red, but not black either. Just maybe red green. I think it's maybe red green, like doing whatever he cares. Doesn't really going with the flow. He has to do this. He does it. He needs to make money. He does it this way. No, whatever. It's natural. But now he's more red white because he cares. He's seen things. He knows things. He feels more, and he in his heart after going to a certain place. I don't do spoilers. He wants to do what's right. So I think he's red white now.
I agree with he's red white. I'm going to throw a curveball. I think before he had his tussle with Brienne, I actually think that the Hound was black green. He was certainly only worried about himself. Now, that slowly changed because the Hound was kind of a slow burn to not only worrying about himself and actually worrying about other people. But when the series started, he was certainly only worried about himself, but he didn't really want to get involved in anyone else's affairs. He just wanted to be on his own, but he was making sure that he was taken care of above all else. He was completely selfish.
No, you're right.
In every single way.
No, I agree.
But he didn't want to have.
Yeah, I agree.
He didn't want to have anything bother him if he didn't have to. So that to me is.
I agree with that.
So I'm going to go green black.
Yeah. So black green into. Yeah, I agree with you. Black green into red white.
I agree. Okay. How about the current throne sitter?
Cersei Lannister. So much red. I think she's definitely red. She's passionate. She's calculated. Let's see. I think now she's Grixis. I think she's red, black, blue.
Do you think red, black, blue?
Now. Yes.
I think Cersei has always been and will always be white and black. She values laws and the rules and making sure everything is in order so much, but it is all only for personal gain. Maybe not necessarily personal gain, but her family's gain.
Yes, exactly. Which I don't think.
I don't think it's. I don't think it's. I don't think just because you're not only worried about yourself that makes you black, but you are worried about a very small group, and she's literally willing to do anything at all to make sure that she survives and thrives. And she uses rules and laws and order to make that happen. That makes Cersei black white.
I'm not saying the white. I understand the black. I understand the I'll do anything for my family. I get that. She's definitely passionate too. Like, she's so passionate that she feels like love is love. She's with her brother for a reason.
That's fair. So that's fair.
And then the blue part is she is calculated, man. She blew up the freaking, like, she might always be right with her calculation, but she's calculated. She does things. Yeah. Yes. She first, made the religion big. That was calculated. And then she fixed it. That was calculated. Like, she's calculated. I don't see her as white. I don't see her as noble at all.
I don't say she was noble.
I don't see her as. I don't see any trace of white in her.
She uses laws and order and organization to advance her goals exclusively. She does it exclusively through those means.
Right. And I don't think you need to be white to do that.
I think you do.
I don't think. I think black and blue is perfectly fine for that.
We'll agree to disagree.
Okay.
Here's an interesting one. How about Melisandre?
Oh, poor Melisandre. Frick. I think white red.
So I think it's difficult to divorce Melisandre from the color red because she is fire. She's essentially obsessed with fire.
But she's also obsessed with religion, which is definitely red.
That's very white.
It's definitely a red trait. Okay. Well, yeah. I said red white.
Yeah, you snuck into that one being lucky, but that's fine.
I think she still is red white throughout. Like, I think she messed up, but I think she's still red white.
Melisandre's to me is. I definitely think she is white because she's obsessed with order and religion, and that comes before everything else. So that to me is white. She definitely also is red for all of the reasons you stated. She's not black, and she's not
green.
She's not blue. I think she might be a little green because she wants. I think that she's green because she wants how things are to continue. She doesn't want anything to interfere with what she sees as nature and normalcy.
I don't think I don't think that necessarily. I don't think it's enough green. I don't think it's enough green at all.
Maybe.
I think
maybe she has a green activated.
Sure. I think that's fine. I think we're stretching too much if we make her green.
Right. Who's next?
Oh my God, Peter Baelish.
Oh man. Okay. I think this is maybe the easiest one. He's blue-black all the way.
Yeah. Yes. Hands down, blue-black.
Pure ambition. Cares about nothing but himself. Just wants to get as much as he can. I think he's a cunning little bastard.
Yes. I think he has a tiny, itsy bitty splash of white only for one person, and that's for Sansa and her mother. Maybe. I'm not even sure.
I don't think so.
Let's go with
blue-black. Straight up.
All right.
Moving on. Who'd you get?
Tyrion Lannister.
Whew. Well, Tyrion's blue, for sure. He's primarily blue. He's blue, and he's definitely not red. He's the farthest thing away from red. He does not... He might think with emotion, but he very rarely acts on emotion without putting an insane amount of forethought into it. He's not black. I don't think he is. No, he is. While he is ambitious, he is not ambitious in a way that he undercuts people. He's not white. He doesn't care about order really at all, and I don't think he's green either.
He's not green, but I'm not convinced.
I think he's just mono blue. I think he's just blue. I'm gonna go with blue for Tyrion.
I'm not convinced that he's not doesn't have some red in him. At one point, I think he's mono blue now. I think he's like. Because he's the hand, and I think he's mono blue now. But I think in the past he was blue-red.
I think when he was at King's Landing, you're probably right.
Yeah, but I think now he's mono blue.
Okay, I'll agree with that. I think he's mainly mono blue, but I think you're right. He did.
And let me explain why he's mono red because, or not mono red, but splash red because maybe some people don't. I said that we understand what we're saying, but maybe listeners don't understand. I'm saying he's red because he was in love. He's very passionate about certain people. Even though his brothers and sisters, or sister, I guess, treated him wrongly, he still loved her. He still wanted best for her. Now he's not so much. I think now he's just blue.
Yep. Forethought among all else. Okay, what about the person he serves, Daenerys Targaryen?
White.
I think Daenerys is one of the most interesting characters for this little study, by the way. But I'll get to that when it's my turn.
I think red is cheating.
I do not think that red is cheating.
Why is she red for you?
She is red for me.
I guess she is red. She is definitely red.
Because she is... It's passion, desire, and what she feels is right.
Yeah, she's followed her emotions a lot, especially when it comes to dating and loving.
That's true.
So, yeah,
and where she feels like where she feels she should rightfully be. She's not blue at all, not even remotely.
No.
She's not black remotely.
No.
I don't really think she's green. I think you could argue that she's green because she's maybe lucked into it. As far as allowing kind of nature to take its course and the normal balance of power not being disrupted, she's definitely white. She is trying to unite people. I don't know that it's for the right reason, but that's not the point. So I'm going to go with red-white for Daenerys.
I think you're right about red. I was going to say it's cheating because if you count dragons as being red, that's cheating.
No, I'm saying nothing about her dragons.
Yes. Though. Yeah, I agree. I think she's red-white and has a little bit of green in her because of following the way, or like I think she's Naya, like because of dragons, because of Dothraki, whatever, or because of them solely like respecting people's lands and what they are and who they are, and not trying to change them, just accepting things the way they are. I think is very green, especially when it comes to peoples. I think she does that very well. I think she's Naya.
I'm not. Man. But see, I feel like Green doesn't want the world to change. Green wants the world to stay how it is.
That's not true. That's not true.
I think it wants to, like, Green wants everyone to, like, where they are, they want that to be how it is.
No, it's not. Green's just in tune with the way things are, and the way things will become, or should become. It's not at all, I don't think it's staying stagnant at all.
But you're saying, I'm not saying stagnant. I'm saying embracing.
Well, you're saying keep the way things are. I don't think it's the case. I think
that
green
doesn't mean
is very.
Stagnation, though. That means embracing where you are and what you are and what you mean as the cog of the world.
Yes, and she does that with the Dothraki and who she was then, and Unsullied, who they are. She embraces that about them.
I think, but Green is against change, though.
I don't think it is.
Green is against change for sure.
I strongly disagree.
Okay, all right. You guys are going to have to be the tiebreaker. Let us know at Ali Aintrazi, at JParnell1, at Thinktwice MTG. Let us know what you guys think. Green about change, Green not about change. I say no change for Green. Ali says yes. Okay, let's hit a couple easy ones, shall we? After this one?
Yes.
Let's start.
White.
What else?
2 white.
Triple white?
Yes. Triple white.
Totally agree. Actually, I think
white.
I think he has a tiny little bit of green, but he's mono. The white is so strong with his order and wanting things to be in order and living
he's
to
honest.
serve.
He's too honest.
Yeah, I was going to say, and he all of his actions are based on truth, and that's what he wants from everyone, which is what gets his head chopped off.
All right, let's keep going on.
All right. So mono white for next start. Ramsay Bolton.
I think black red. Rakdos.
I think that Ramsay is Grixis.
I keep in mind Ramsay Bolton is the guy he's the Flayer. He's under the Flayer banner. He's the one that made Reek.
Yeah. So Ramsay, obviously, I don't think we need to explain black. Ambitious.
No, he's definitely black
also
red.
A literal psychopath. He's definitely red because he's impulsive. Goes entirely on feeling.
Explain the blue.
Because he plans. I know I just said he goes entirely on feeling, but he's a literal psychopath. He's completely sadistic, but he's like one of the best at luring people into traps.
Yes, but I think that's part of. I think black knew that too. Like black is associated with blue. Like they are on the same side of the color pie because they're similar just to an extent. I don't think he's blue. I don't think he's that smart or that good at strategic planning. I think whatever his planning is from black, and it's not always correct. It's not always right. I don't see blue in him.
See, he's methodical in how he tortures people and how he plans these terrible things to happen to people.
Yeah, that's very black. Like, think of the Cabal, think of braids, think of just torment in general, Chainer. Like that's very black to me. I don't see the blue.
I'm gonna go with blue on this one too.
God. Okay.
All right. The three-eyed raven.
All right. Snap. Simic.
Yeah, that one's easy. Explain though.
I mean, he's all-knowing. He can see the future. Time travel. That's very blue. Extremely blue. And green is he's in tune with the way things are. He knows the way things
will be
are supposed to. Yeah, are supposed to play out. He's on nature's side. He's on the side of the way things are and the way things should evolve and the way things are bound to happen. He's not on the side of humans. He's not on the side of whatever. But he's on the side of the living. And that doesn't mean like, you're my brother, so I'm definitely on the side of you. The living is a grand thing for him. It's the people, everything. Like I don't think he'll like it, but I think he would sacrifice someone he cared about for the greater good.
Yeah,
like for the world.
Yes, he definitely embraces the green of this is how things are. This is how things will be. I'm just a part of that. He's just a part of the cycle. He's not some.
Well, keep in mind
Go ahead.
Keep in mind the Three-Eyed Raven isn't necessarily a brand either. Three-Eyed Raven is an entity, a force, which is beautifully shows what green is. Like that's another way it can explain green. It's a force.
It's a force of nature, and I think this is important. I think green is the least present thing in Game of Thrones as far as from a color pie standpoint. So I think it's notable that Three-Eyed Raven, I totally agree, is also green and blue, mainly for his foresight and planning, and that's just it's a part of that character and just in its essence. It's starkly green and blue. It's literally no other colors at all. I think that one's pretty
correct.
Easy. So you're talking about the living. What about the dead? What about the Night King?
Blue.
Yep.
Not because of ice, but he's definitely he plans.
Real
he
far
knows. Yes, and he also was associated somehow with time travel. He knows like he also has magic too.
Sure,
like,
but those are mechanical things.
Magic.
Those aren't personality things.
Sure. I think he's green too. I think.
Okay, I agree.
I don't.
Don't say black. He's not black.
Yeah, I'll say I don't think he's black
at all.
I don't think he's not red. And
white.
What's left? I don't know. I don't know enough about him to say he's white. He could be white, but I don't know enough about him to say he's white. I can't say for sure he's blue and green.
Oh, he's totally white. He's more white than he is green. Now I think he's green also, but he's literally building an army. And he completely values the many over the one, totally, without question.
Okay.
So much so that everything is literally replaceable as long as the force is moving. And the force that he wants is what he feels is the natural balance of the world that his legion is supposed to essentially take over Westeros. And that is the natural state of things. That definitely makes him green, as well as white.
Well, he's a force.
Well as white, yes.
Yeah.
And blue, basically, he's a cunning tactician. He's as much blue as Nicol Bolas is. Plots that span centuries for real on the Night King.
Yeah. As far as white, though, maybe
I
a little bit of white.
I definitely think that he's white.
Okay.
He wants to, but he's the imposing part of white. He values the many over the few. And wants to impose order by force. That's white.
But we don't know he wants order for sure.
He does want order. He wants everything to be a white. He wants everything to be undead. He wants to completely take over. That is order to him.
Is it?
Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, so isn't it weird to think of the Night King as Bant, by the way? But let's move on.
It is interesting, but that's where we are. All right, Grey Worm.
White and not all black.
No, he's the farthest away from black of any character on the entire show.
I think white blue. I want to say red, but I don't think just because you love someone it means you're red. I think it's just white. I think it's white blue.
I definitely don't think it's red. I agree with that. White blue. I think white's pretty easy. He He's the most selfless character that that Game of Thrones has ever seen. That alone makes him white because he's so far in that direction. But what about blue?
Just the way he his planning, his strategic planning. It's unique. It's different.
He also I was kind of wishing you didn't say white and blue because I thought I was going to catch you with this one. He doesn't look at things directly and take things as they are. He looks at things for what they could be, and that is the most blue thing of all. He looks at when he joined Daenerys. He looked at what he could be a part of, and what could change, how the world can change. Even though he understands that might not necessarily mean him, he wants to be a force in the change, or at least be a force in making the change happen, and that's definitely blue.
All right, so we'll go with blue, white.
Blue, white. All right, we're going to wrap up with what I think is a really interesting one. I'm going to see if you land on the same one as we do for the last one. Tommen Baratheon.
You go
green,
first.
Mono green.
This time.
He's the only mono green character. Okay, let's narrow it down. He's not black. He has literally no ambition.
No.
He doesn't care about much. Which is what makes him not white. He was an awful king. He was a terrible king. He didn't do anything. He literally just listened to other people. He never made a decision for himself. Well, I guess he did one.
Sure. Yes, one.
Exactly one. He's not blue.
Yeah.
He basically has no planning. He doesn't value change. He was just kind of living in the moment, but not living in the moment as though he was when he was red, because he wasn't really passionate about anything other than just being himself and having everything exactly as it was, which is why that makes him green.
I think it's green red.
I don't think he cared enough for red. You know what? He was red the last 30 seconds of his life.
No, but also he was red because of the way he loved. Like he wanted to be with was it? Huh?
Said poorly.
What?
Marjorie.
What's her name? Marjorie. So he wanted to be with Marjorie, and he's not blue because he didn't see how conniving she was and smart she was, and he also he followed his emotions because he married her instead of listening to his mother.
I think he just thought that's how things are supposed to be, so he just did them.
But he still didn't listen to his mother. His mother didn't want him to marry Marjorie or be with Marjorie, and he listened. That was one thing he listened to his emotions with. And then again at the very end, he was so overwhelmed with whatever that he committed suicide. I think that's red. That's
for the last 30 seconds. I'll agree. I think he's mono green before that.
I think it's green red.
All right, you guys let us know which of those we're right on, which of those we're wrong on. Obviously, there's some that we agree on, some that we don't. You can let us know that at jparnell1, at Ali Aintrazi, or at the show at Thinktwice MTG on Twitter. Ollie, we're going to wrap up. I think that's pretty much it for today. We got some stuff to hit on the other side, but that's the show for today. We'll see you guys in a second. Okay, so we have an update for me on my Vintage League. I talked to you guys last week about playing in the Vintage League. We have a Roanoke Vintage League that we do 2 or 3 times a year. I played Blue Red Delver to a 3-2 record in Vintage League. What do you think of that? Obviously, you're the vintage expert on the show.
I am not. That's you. I have no idea.
I won all of the games that I had Delver of Secrets, and I lost all of the games that I didn't, interestingly enough, as it would seem.
Man, I wonder why the deck's called Blue Red Delver.
I mean, it has Young Pyromancer in it, too. I had 3 Young Pyromancers. I had 2 Harsh Mentor and 2 Snapcaster Mage. I was actually happy. I was actually happy with the deck. But it reminded me that Monastery Mentor is a completely busted card in Vintage, and that none of those cards are Monastery Mentor.
It's time to play Wine No Death Shadow. And
because you're allowed to play 4 of this card called Mental Misstep.
Okay, fair enough.
So you can't be putting yourself real low and then try to play Death Shadow, and then they counter it, and you're like, well, now I'm probably going to die.
Well, now you just misstep it back.
Yeah. Better hope that works out.
You just play all the Phyrexian stuff.
Yeah. Well, you can only play one Gitaxian Probe.
I know,
Yeah.
it's sad.
You play 4 misstep, and only 1 attack super up. I'm telling you, Ollie, you need to just proxy up a vintage deck. Just go look online, just poke around.
No.
Yeah, you should definitely do it. You would love it. It's right up your
No,
alley.
I think
you can literally do anything in this format.
Well, I think my next one's going to be
My friend Sean French
Commander.
was playing Magus of the Future in his deck.
Nice.
I'm telling you, it's a wide open world. What were you going to say? You're
Why Max the Future instead of Future Sight?
It was a terrible idea. It was awful. He just pitched it to Force Will most of the time.
Okay, all right. Well, there you go. If it's blue, you can play in vintage because
that's pretty good. It's a good way. It's a good way to live as a blue card.
Yeah.
Okay, what were you going to say? You're saying you're going to proxy up what?
Oh, I think the next thing, the next format I'm going to try to get into that's not standard or I guess modern. Is probably I'm looking into Commander.
Yay! All right, good for you. I support that decision.
It's only because of you. So.
Oh.
I used to be more into it than you were into it back in the day.
Look, I have falling out with Commander. That's true.
Yeah.
But look, I started playing Commander in 2007, so it's not like I was like awakened or anything. Okay. I just had a rough time. You rolled up with some BS like Grand Arbiter Augustine. That's not going to make me want to play Commander. I still don't want to play with that card. I hate that card.
Well, also had Rafiq. Rafiq was great.
Oh yeah, Rafiq's great. Yeah, die with 1 hit. Yeah, that's a lot of fun too.
Rafiq of the Many is sweet. Card. Get him.
Yeah, but you know what he's not many of? Rafiq of the not many attack steps.
Well, here's the thing about Rafiq. He will.
Please enlighten me.
He will almost assuredly always kill at least one person.
Yeah. Of course. Usually it's me whenever I'm playing against Rafiq.
That's great.
Not for me.
You're the person be like, you know what? I know for a fact I kill one person during this multiplayer game. Who do I pick?
Me, usually. Frequently.
Well, Rafiq was fun. I like Rafiq.
Okay, so what else do you have going on?
Well, me, I've been I had an epiphany or
an epiphany.
I don't know what you call it.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. Not epiphany. I guess it wasn't a thought. It was so I went to a place called Publix. I don't know about Publix or not.
I know Publix.
But it's a grocery store. So you're like, oh, grocery store, whatever. But it's so much more than that. It's amazing.
Are you getting paid by Publix to say this?
No. So I went to Publix. The people are great, first of all. Like, they always
now he's definitely getting paid. Keep going. It's fine.
No,
are you splitting this with me, this Publix money?
Yeah. So he told me, like, if you try to check out, they're like, we got this. We'll take it out for you. But that's not the cool part. The cool part is, like, they're also a bakery. They have, like, all kinds of things. And also, like, they have, like, ready-to-cook food. So you can buy it, and, like, it's already ready to cook. You just put it in, and you're like, hey, look, babe, look what I made. And, like, you made it, but it's already ready to cook, so it's kind of like cheating, but it's awesome. But anyways, that's not what it's about. I went to the bakery, and I had this little cake thing called a Petite Four.
Okay.
Okay, so let me tell you what a Petite Four is, okay? It's a small bite-sized confectionery, like, appetizer. It's definitely French, and they had this one, like, you'd love it. It was, like, covered in chocolate. And inside of it was chocolate cake, and then between the cakes was like little like chocolate cream type thing.
Oh yeah, keep talking to me about it.
And it was cold, and then when you chewed it, the outside it did not melt. It didn't melt, but it was super crunchy. Like not crunchy like cracker crunchy, but it was like hard chocolate crunchy. And I think it was like a mixture of dark chocolate, milk chocolate, and cake, and I don't know. It's freaking delicious. It was delicious. And I'm all about it now. Like, I go there, like, at least once a week. I get, like, 5 or 6 of them. I put them in the fridge. Then I have, I try to have one a day, but usually I end up eating them all in a sitting. They're fantastic. Also, another thing that I had to do was, not had to do, but I actually started playing more Pokemon Go because they released the legendary birds. So now we had Articuno, and now we have Moltres. So I've been going around and trying to catch Moltres, because I have to have more than you.
Yeah, well, I mean, of course. Why would you not? After you rubbed it in my face last week, I could only assume.
What did I rub in your face?
You were like, 3 Articuno and 3 Lugia. How many do you have? You pretty much said it exactly like that. You did, essentially.
No, you asked me.
Well, you entrapped me to ask me.
Yeah.
You knew I would ask. I was trying to just be a friend, and you were like, Yeah, let me show you all my birds.
So I've been trying to catch Moltres. I'm 1-3 right now, and I plan to go out Saturday to catch some more. Hopefully get a couple more, maybe two more.
I have not caught Moltres yet either. Now I have not tried yet, but I still.
Well, not either. You just haven't caught Moltres yet. Not either, because I've caught it.
I thought you said yeah. Oh, yeah. You said you're 1 for 3. See, this is rubbing in my face. See, you're doing it right now.
I'm not rubbing in your face. I'm just saying it's not either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
The one obviously I'm excited for is definitely Zapdos. I'm excited for Zapdos.
I am also the most excited for Zapdos.
I'm just excited to have finally a good, powerful electric type Pokemon.
Yeah.
To be fair, Moltres is decent too. Moltres isn't that bad. Like, it's definitely one of the better fire types.
It is. Fire's poopy right now, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Same with Articuno. If we have 5 first vote, that's it, right? Like, it's funny because they're all like needed. They're all needed types.
Yeah, it's interesting. If only there was a good grass Pokemon. That's like the big thing that I feel like Pokemon Go is missing.
Yeah, Lugia is whatever. Lugia is just like a big.
It's just like a big general attacker. Just yeah.
Yeah, I see it as like as a Dragonite Tyranitar type deal.
Yep, exactly.
Just like
totally agree.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, guys. We are gonna wrap up. Ollie, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, at the respective website /Ali Aintrazi, ALI Eldrazi, ELDRAZI. Also, my articles come out every Friday on GatheringMagic.com. In fact, when this comes out, my articles come out on Gathering Magic. You should check it out because this time I have a bunch of new decks that I think can combat Mono Red.
Ooh.
So,
okay.
Check that out.
And you can find me, as always, I'm on Twitter at jparnell1. You can also find me every Wednesday on StarCityGames.com, as well as YouTube. I'm the host of Commander vs. Series, which most of you are probably coming over here from there to listen to this. So thanks for listening. Thanks for coming. We're getting pretty deep into the season on Commander vs. It's starting to ramp up. We are... you should watch over the next couple weeks. I'm just going to say that. Watch over the next couple weeks for Commander vs. For the show, you can find us on SoundCloud, you can find us on iTunes, you can find us on YouTube. Now, we might be expanding format soon, but those are the 3 places you can find us right now. You can contact the show on Twitter at ThinktwiceMTG. That's at ThinktwiceMTG on Twitter, and you can also reach us by email, thinktwicemtg@gmail.com. We're also slowly setting up our Patreon page. We haven't done so yet. You guys should let us know what you want to see on our Patreon as supporters. We'd love to get feedback on that. We want to make cool stuff for you guys. And the more information we have, the better we can make it for you.
Yes, and for next week, we will 100% have Patreon up for at least $1, just for support, if nothing else. And we are looking for more rewards. So again, please tell us what you're looking for, what you would like to see as a reward.
Yep, show us what you got, for sure. All right, Ollie, I love you, buddy.
I love you too, man. Catch you later. Have a good day.
All right, we love you guys. Thanks for listening. See you next week.